Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight here for this Tuesday edition of For FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Donovan Wiseman.
And I'm student meteorologist Becca Bennett.
Rebecca, we saw a little bit better weather today. Not much of a warm-up from yesterday, but that rain was gone. It stayed pretty cool, but no cloud coverage. A lot of sunshine today. I enjoyed today.
There was definitely a lot of sunshine. It was much better than all the rain. I don't like the rain. It makes me tired. And today I was just like, it's sunny outside. It's going to be great.
Those kind of days, it makes you want to be, at least me, it makes me want to be more productive. It was hard yesterday getting up early for a 9:45 class when you see it's raining outside. You just want to keep sleeping, but today, a much better day.
A much better day. I had no problem getting up from my 8 a.m. I was like, let's go. The sun was like coming in my room. I was like, yeah, it's time to go.
Definitely a better day here. Unfortunately, we're going to see some more negative weather coming our way on Wednesday. Probably going to cool down even more than what it is right now.
Yeah, temperatures like in the upper 20s. I'm not a fan of that.
No, neither am I. We got that cold front moving in. Of course, we're going to talk more about that as the show goes on. But by this weekend, it's still going to be pretty cold. That's what we can expect here for this time of year. But it's going to get a little bit better from the middle of this week.
Yeah, all those back and forth temperatures. It gets too confusing. It's like it's warm one day, and then it's going to be like in the 20s on Wednesday. And it's like 60s now. It's like...
I wish the weather would make its mind up. But for now, let's send it out to John to talk about an overview of the weather.
Get up this morning, it was hard because we had lots of wind. That was the main story today. It was almost chilly outside because of all this wind. Temperatures got up to around 60 degrees, but wind chills, or the feels-like temperatures, actually stayed in the 50s, and with those clouds, it felt quite chilly outside with winds up around 15 miles an hour most of the day. Still here in Tallahassee around 12 miles an hour, and this is straight out of the north. This is really a sign of things to come over the next couple of days. It's going to be warm because of this main high pressure system, but this is kind of a false alarm here because we're actually going to have a series of cool fronts passing through the area. There's actually going to be 3 cool fronts that will be passing through over the next 7 days. And that's really going to bring in a lot of the cool air. So we're going to start off with sunshine and warm afternoons, but sub-freezing mornings and cool air. But as we get into Thursday morning, look at this dip here in the winds. This is the next cool front. This is the first of those 3 cool fronts that are going to come in. Starting on Thursday morning, those temperatures are going to fall as well. It's going to be a blustery weekend here in the Big Bend. But we've got some atmospheric moisture to talk about, atmospheric rivers at the desk. Donovan and Becca?
We actually are really lucky that we're getting rain because in California, they're in a record drought right now. They've called for like a statewide emergency.
Yeah, there's a state of emergency in California right now. And actually, NOAA, the hurricane hunters, are doing some investigating. They're following these atmospheric rivers, as John said, to see just how much rainfall might reach the ground in California because they really are hurting pretty bad right now.
Yeah, and that's really cool how they can analyze those because that I wouldn't think you could do that.
Oh, yeah, they're using everything right now. They're using lasers, radar, sending up weather balloons. Those guys are usually in the southeast because there's not a lot of hurricanes out in California. And to talk more about the southeast, let's send it out to Ulises. He's going to take us around Tallahassee. What do you have for us, Ulises?
It's pretty much cold out there, and it's going to be like that for the next couple of days. Right now, temperatures throughout the Big Bend, a lot of 50s all throughout, 55 in Tallahassee, 54 in Carabel, 59 in Bainbridge. But the main thing, like Jonathan mentioned, it was windy out there today. The cloud cover has been receding throughout the whole day thanks to that cold front that came over us yesterday, began to push further and further towards the east. The good news is with a lot of that sunshine, though, we began to see a lot of that sun, which will continue for the next couple of days. But the wind really kept those temperatures in check, closer to that 50-degree mark when it feels like outside. Mostly blowing right now around the 10 miles per hour mark, coming out of the north. But those winds will begin to relax a little bit more as we go deeper into the night. The water vapor from that cold front, though, brought a lot of dry air into the area. So just remember, folks, to have that chapstick, that lotion outside, because if you really have really sensitive skin, you're really going to need it, folks. And a lot of that orange all throughout the southeast, and that's all going to be reinforced the next couple of days. So really no changes when it comes to that humidity out there. Very low numbers all throughout. The futurecast high pressure all throughout the southeast. That's going to continue as we go into our Tuesday night and into our Wednesday. Chilly temperatures tonight into the 30s. But overall, the rest of the southeast will begin to see a little bit more of a southerly flow as we go into our Wednesday afternoon, into our Thursday morning, thanks to that next cold front coming in. The next cold front, however, you do notice some snow over Texas and New Mexico. None of that will come here, but this will be the first of 3 cold fronts that will come into our area. But this one will be quite a punch. It will really dip those temperatures down, especially as we go into our Friday. We'll have clear conditions Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday. And another cold front comes in on Saturday that will really make those temperatures even sizzle further down into those upper 40s to low 50s for the weekend. And we'll take a closer look into that into our 7-day, but clear conditions all throughout. So just remember to have that jacket with you as we go into the next 7 days. The beach, however, it's not going to be the best of days, though. Winds out of the north at 10 to 15 knots. Protected waters, a light to a moderate chop. The good news is the days are getting longer out there, especially with sunsets now occurring towards 6:20 at night. On the sand towards the beach, 6 is the UV index. Just remember to have that sunscreen if you are going to go outside. 57-degree waters are going to be really chilly. In the next 7 days, like tonight, 38 degrees, cold and clearing. Winds out of the north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Temperatures will spike up to 67 degrees. It will pretty much be the last of those average temperature days before those temperatures take a nosedive towards 52 by Friday, 50 on Sunday. Just remember, folks, have those sub-freezing temperatures. And remember those 4 Ps. Protect your plants, pets, people, and pipes. And now we're going to send it over to Shane with a further look of our southeast.
Thanks, Ulises. And the story for Tallahassee really is the story for most of the southeast this day. It's clear across the board. From Texas on over to South Carolina, barely any clouds in the sky, save for some passing high cirrus clouds as these pressure systems begin to move out of here. But the real story today is the moisture, or rather, the lack of it. We've got this big splotch of orange across most of the southeast and the Gulf Coast tonight, and that indicates dry air. It is dry outside, not a drop of moisture in the sky above us, and if you're sensitive on the ground, you might be needing the chapstick because it's so dry, especially with the winds picking up. It can really irritate sensitive skin, so be prepared for that. To where our current temperatures stand this evening, we've got 55 degrees here in Tallahassee, and as expected, it gets colder to our north. It's 50 in Atlanta, 49 in Little Rock, but check out Texas region. New Orleans is at 63, and over there in Shreveport, they're at 62. So they're staying warm right now before the sun sets with that blast of warm air that's filling the central plains right now. The dew points also indicate the moisture again. A dew point of 40 in Tallahassee means that it's not too dry or too wet outside right now, but a dew point of 29 in Tupelo, that's a lot lower than their current temperature, and that just goes to show how very dry it is outside right there. So the winds out of the north right now are pushing down that colder air that's been keeping it kind of chilly today. And I wanted to point out something about these winds. They're all coming from the north and then curving to come out of the northwest. That's because they're circling counterclockwise around a low pressure system that's located off to sea on the Atlantic right now. So that's what's directing our winds right now. But as for the future, we've got that high pressure dome that's been keeping it dry, and we're not about to get any rain, but this cold front is going to dip our temperatures down for a very chilly spell come the end of this week. Sunny skies will prevail, but waking up to sub or near freezing temperatures could be pretty shocking for some of us. So all that heavy winter gear that we put away last month, it's time to break it back out. The hats, the gloves, the scarves. Anything might be necessary when we wake up to temperatures that are below freezing. But the clear skies will prevail, which is the good news for all of us. We won't be getting to freezing quite yet. Tonight we'll be getting down to 39 degrees in Tallahassee, and tomorrow warming up to a beautiful sunny 66 degrees. Beautiful weather, right guys?
Absolutely, Shane. Thanks for taking us around the southeast. Becca, a completely different story up in the northeast. We were talking last week, just all the snowfall they've got. They're expecting even more by middle of this week.
More? That's crazy. They've already had so much, and now that they're going to get more, that's crazy.
Yeah, I feel bad for those people up there. You've seen all week on news outlet channels just that snow covering cars, things like that. But there's another cold front dipping down from Canada. It's also going to affect the Midwest, but really the last place that needs any more winter weather is up in Boston and areas like that. They can expect even more. Really sad for them.
That is really, really sad. I mean, they can't do anything now. I mean, they're having trouble with transportation and everything, and they're just going to get more. That's really bad, actually.
Yeah, very bad. They were saying the Red Line bus was delayed for hours today, so it's just making it really hard on those people up there. And maybe to talk even more about that, maybe John's going to take us around the Northeast. What do you have, John?
We are going to visit the Northeast. Unfortunately, there are 2 different storm systems reaching the Northeast over the next couple of days. Here's storm number 1. This is what we crossed through here yesterday, just brewing off the North Carolina coast here. Second system is up in the northern plains here, causing quite a few snowflakes falling across parts of Wisconsin and up into Minnesota. And this is going to drop down out of Canada, and we'll talk about both of these systems here in a second. But I first want to talk about the heat down south. Look, there was 80s down in Texas today. Most of the Texas plains here sitting in the 80s, 70s across Oklahoma and Louisiana, and out west. These temperatures are going to be climbing over the next couple of days. 82 in Phoenix. Get used to this out west, because that rain is leaving our area out towards California and most of the Pacific Southwest. But up towards the north, here's that second system I wanted to mention here. You can actually see the spin here, spinning across southern Minnesota here, bringing in 1 to 3 inches of snow across most of these locations, and even higher rain totals up towards Thunder Bay and Wausau over the next couple of days. Down towards the south, we're actually seeing a mix of some sleet and freezing rain down across the border of Iowa and Illinois there. And that's going to continue to move off towards the north and east, into the north and east, unfortunately bringing them more snow. But first we have to deal with this. A winter weather advisory here in effect for most of Minnesota, and this brown advisory here, this is actually a wind advisory here for winds upwards of 40 miles per hour across about half of the Dakotas there. This whole system is moving off towards the east, bringing, again, 2 to 4 inches across those areas as it gets into the north and east and collides with this system as it moves also up towards the north and east. Some places from Boston, again, up towards Bangor, Maine, could see 3 to 6 inches of rainfall or snowfall in this case. Boston already still dealing with these delays, and they're kind of getting used to that up there at the airport in Boston. A little over an hour delay there in Boston, and that's going to be continuing because we've got storm system number 1 here across the Midwest and storm system number 2 off the coast of North Carolina, and these two are going to kind of come together just over the north and east and really pile up some snowfall totals up in Nova Scotia, 3 to 6 inches in parts of Nova Scotia, and heading into the end of the week. Some places across eastern parts of down east Maine and into Nova Scotia could see upwards of a foot of snow. Now, most of these places have already seen upwards of 80 inches in some of these places. Concord, Maine, already at above 75 inches. Boston totaling out at 75 inches. I want to take a quick look at the temperatures because this is going to be the main story as we head into the end of this week. Look at this bubble of cold air up towards the north. Most of this is going to head towards the east, but there's going to be a batch of this that's going to come through down towards the south. And as we head into the end of the week, look at this low on Sunday morning. As this fast forwards down here, 22 degrees. And we're going to be talking about sub-freezing low temperatures over the weekend, upwards of 4 times. So Friday morning will be the first cool morning. And then heading into Monday morning, we're also going to be talking about very chilly temperatures. But for now, we're on the warm side. Now, Becca, we're talking about 55 degrees here in Tallahassee. Do you like that?
I love that, and that is so different than what the Northeast is seeing right now. Currently, we are at 55 degrees. Satellite here, those clouds that we saw are moving out of our area as that low pressure system moves off to the east. Bigger picture, there's that low system that we were watching that brought in all those clouds into our area, and that is pushed off to our east into North Carolina. Water vapor, all that orange, dry air, that is associated with the high pressure that came in with the cold front, moving out that moist air from that low. Here, high pressure that is over us right now, that is bringing in the dry and clear air. And as the cold front moves in, it'll be around tomorrow morning, cold air. Prepare to wear a jacket tomorrow morning. And as that cold front moves in, all you're going to see is sunshine. And that is great. Sunny, beautiful, everything you can expect with a cold front bringing in clear air behind it. And as that cold front continues to move into our area, Thursday evening, cold temperatures, even Friday, waking up into the upper 20s. Yes, 20s. If you want to head out to the beach, brave it. Good for you. It's going to be beautiful outside. You're definitely going to want to bring a jacket, though. And if the water, 57, don't recommend you go in there, but if you are going to go to the beach, definitely bring sunscreen because that UV index is at 6. which is high. Tonight, you're going to be expecting a lot of wind to come in. It's going to be breezy, 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 breezy. We expect to see a temperature of 38 here in Tallahassee. In Bainbridge, even lower at 37 degrees. Tomorrow, another beautiful day, kind of like what we had today. Temperature of 67 degrees here in Tallahassee. And in Carabel, you're going to be at 64. A little cooler towards the coast, but that's what to be expected. Looking ahead, you can see no rain in sight. All sunshine with that cold front coming in. Temperatures in the upper 60s. And Friday, when we see the brunt of that cold front, 50s, 29 in the morning when we wake up, and then slowly increases on Saturday to the temperature of 61, but then back into the 50s we see on Sunday and Monday. So beautiful week ahead, colder temperatures as to be expected because of that cold front coming in. Sunshine, dry air. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful weekend. So we're going to see what the guys have up at the desk for us.
We're actually going to take a look at some international stories now. We're heading over to Indonesia, where they've actually been pelted with rain recently.
Yes, they got pounded with a lot of rain, especially Sunday into Monday, up to 18 inches.
Wow, even for that area where they have a lot of rain, this is the rainy season, right?
Correct. Yeah, their winter time is actually the rainy season.
So this time of year, they're used to the rainfall, but 18 inches actually caused some travel problems there.
Yeah, their travel problems consisted pretty much of their busway system pretty much halted pretty much halfway through the corridors of the town.
Yeah, 18 inches, just to put that into perspective, we talked about buses. About a foot of rainfall or a foot of water can actually drift buses or move buses down the road, so they probably want to keep those buses off the roadway there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just scary stuff. And the thing is, when it comes to their weather over there, it's not really going to improve too much as we go further down into the rest of the work week.
Yeah, so they're in the thick of it, the rainy season there, but it's looking fantastic here.
Oh, yes, it's looking really good, even though it's going to be on the chilly side. And now we're going to begin to send it over to Donovan for a look on our around Florida.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, let's take it around the Sunshine State. Currently, 55 here in Tallahassee, 57 in Pensacola, and look down as we get further south down around Miami, 71 degrees. Just a beautiful day across the state, a little cooler up towards our way, but that's what we're expecting seasonally here. Now, our satellite and radars are showing basically just a little bit of cloud coverage, nothing more than that. No moisture as of right now. We could expect some more in the near future, but again, a beautiful day today. And you just see all this dry air that's been hanging over us. All that moisture is off to the north, up in areas like the northeast, causing a lot of problems up that way. But we're staying really dry down here, just engulfed by all that. Now, here's our futurecast winds and temperatures, and what this is indicating is this northerly flow is that cold front making its way into the area, and as it comes in by Wednesday and Thursday, you can just see how those change directions, and that's where you can really see the cold front making its way through Tallahassee. Hopefully it gets out of here pretty quick because we don't want to deal with that too long. Now here's our futurecast. Speaking of that cold front, it's out here right now, and it's just going to be making its way into Tallahassee. That cold air along with it, out in front of it. It's going to be a chilly weekend, start to your weekend anyway. And there on Wednesday, we're going to see a lot of sunshine, but again, the temperatures are just going to be falling, unfortunately. And behind it, it's just clear weather, so other than the cold temperatures, not much to complain about in our area. And here on Valentine's Day, this is what you can expect. 58 degrees Valentine's Day afternoon into the evening around 59, and then cooling down to around 47 degrees by late night on Valentine's Day. So any outdoor activities you have planned, just be prepared for temperatures like that. But otherwise, a really beautiful day for you and your significant other on Valentine's Day. Now let's talk about tonight's forecast around the state. 39 in Tallahassee, 38 in Jacksonville, and down towards the southern part of the state, we're staying in the low 50s. So a really nice night, again, seasonable here for Tallahassee. I'm ready for those temperatures to get a little bit higher. Now for tomorrow, going to be a gorgeous day here in Tallahassee. 66 for our high. That's going to be a nice, one more day of pretty nice temperatures, comfortable temperatures anyway, before that cold front moves in and cools things down. But again, looking down south, just in the lower 70s, just a beautiful day across the Sunshine State, and a lot of good things to talk about in Florida. Some negative things to talk about around the rest of the country is that winter weather, and Shane's going to tell us more about that.
That's right, Donovan. This is a very chilly story that we've got to tell you tonight, and that's the winter weather story for the nation right now. Let's start off by taking a look at the active systems that are crossing the country right now. We've got some big ones to tell you about. This one over here near Minneapolis, I'll be coming back to that later. That's the big snowmaker right now. The Rocky Mountains are experiencing spotty snow showers on the peaks right now where the air is significantly colder. But other than that, it's a pretty clear day for winter weather. But the snow cover is really sticking around from storm after storm that crosses the upper Midwest into the Northeast. We want to focus in on Boston and upstate New York here. They are still buried under about a foot of snow, locally heavier snowfall drifts in certain places, while the rest of the country, not too bad, with several inches of snow still sitting on the ground in the upper Midwest. But the Northeast is experiencing some airport delays we spoke of earlier. Boston currently coming in at delays of just over an hour. They're enough to give you a minor headache, but not to completely shut down the airport, we're happy to say, because the snow showers are just spotty right now across the Northeast. But getting to the headline story for winter weather today, that is this big spiraling mess of snowfall that's moving over upstate Wisconsin right now. Notice how the southern bands are a wintry mix. That is across the freezing line, so it's not quite cold enough there for wintry precipitation per se. But this is currently part of a low pressure system. We can see the counterclockwise spiral there over western Michigan right now, and it's really something impressive. Let's take a wider view and see all the warnings that are associated with this. Right now it's one warning to speak of over many, many counties over Minnesota and Wisconsin, even a little bit of Iowa there, and eastern North Dakota. This is a winter weather advisory, which means that snowfall and blustery winds could be causing travel headaches and making travel outside particularly dangerous. For some counties here in northern New Mexico and southern Colorado, they've got winter weather advisories as well, shaded there in purple, with a few counties under winter storm warnings in peak. That just means that the conditions will be a little more hazardous there, so everyone should take necessary precautions and limit travel if at all possible. So for what we're talking about with the temperatures that currently encompass the whole country, we've got bursts of cold air across the Northeast right now, from 38 in Washington, D.C. to 27 in Boston. But we really turn around when we cross the freezing line. And here in San Antonio, 79 degrees, and Phoenix there at 82. It's remarkable how on one side of the country they can be freezing, on the other they can be almost burning up for mid-February conditions. But things will turn around quickly. We'll see tonight it'll get down to 18 degrees in Minneapolis, 31 degrees in Kansas City, 17 in Detroit, and 18 in Boston. Those sub-freezing temperatures are pretty chilly and will keep the wintry precipitation around for quite a while. But come tomorrow night, things really take a turn for the colder when those shades of magenta begin to encroach a little further south upon the U.S. and we get a low of -4 degrees in Minneapolis, 10 degrees in Kansas City. Still staying at 41 degrees here in Tallahassee, but that colder air is making its way into our region, so get out the heavy coats and get ready for it, guys.
Oh, yes, we're definitely going to need those heavy coats, Shane.
Yeah. They actually need a little bit of a poncho. In our second international story, we're heading to Europe this time, where they've been dealing with a lot of fog recently.
Yeah, the fog is actually getting ready to start as we go into our Wednesday, and it's pretty much going to persist throughout most of the continent going into the end of the work week.
Yes, stagnant weather there across most of northern Europe, from the UK over towards Warsaw and Poland, places like that. They've got high pressure in control, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not really going anywhere. It's just going to stick around. That fog, it's going to move from west to east. Conditions will continue to be foggy towards the eastern portion of Europe, like Budapest towards Friday, while by London and towards the western portions, rain will eventually come towards the weekend.
And that's actually stalling the weather pattern here in the U.S. as well. High pressure in Europe means low pressure here on the East Coast, and that's where we're going to get all the cold air this weekend. And we're going to talk about that more with Melanie out at the wall now.
Thank you, John. Yeah, we're really going to be seeing a lot of that cold air, and that cold air is already starting to make its way into our area. We're sitting at 55 right now. There were some of those clouds earlier in the afternoon, but those clouds have quickly cleared out, leaving us with a sunny and clear night. Here are the clouds that affected our area earlier in the afternoon. There are just some high-level clouds affected us this morning into our afternoon, but now by 6:20, the clouds are clearing and we're left with a beautiful night. And now that the clouds are clearing, our temperatures are going to start dropping as well. We're already sitting at 55 in Tallahassee, 56 in Wilma, 55 in Bainbridge, and as the night continues, these temperatures are going to be continuing to drop. And thanks to that cold front passing, we have all this dry air 40 in Tallahassee for our dew point, and mid-40s, high 30s, very dry air, as shown by the water vapor map. All this orange is the dry air. So if you're very sensitive to dry air, you may need the chapstick, extra lotion, and with the windy conditions, it may not be the best. But right now we have this high pressure system that is just funneling in, all the northerly flow is just funneling in all this cool, cold, warm sun, dry air. But now we have this cold front that's going to be making its way towards us Wednesday into Thursday. It's going to be passing us Thursday, but before it passes, we're going to be seeing the colder conditions, sunny skies, and then once the cold front does pass us Wednesday, we're going to be left with those clear and colder temperatures. This is the first cold front of 3 cold fronts that is expected to pass through our area, and we're going to be seeing some sub-freezing mornings. So if you like the cold, get ready because it is on the way. Tomorrow on the water, protected waters, light to moderate chop. It's going to be a little bit chilly, a little bit windy, so it may not be the best day to get out on the water. Tonight we're going to be seeing 38 in Tallahassee, 39 in Quincy. It's going to be a little bit breezy. The clouds are going to start to clear, and that's going to be making it a beautiful afternoon as well for your tomorrow. 67 in Tallahassee, 63 in St. Mark's, mid-60s, low 60s, mild conditions. The sun is going to be out. It's going to be nice and chilly. And for Valentine's Day, it's going to be even a little bit colder. If you're going to an early lunch, it's going to be 58 degrees, breezy. By 5 p.m., it's going to be chilly at 59, and it's going to be cooling down for you late night fun people. So if you have any fun plans at night, have those jackets and those blankets because it is going to be really cold out and the temperatures are going to be getting even colder. Tomorrow morning we're going to be sitting at 38, but by Friday and Saturday we're going to be seeing those sub-freezing mornings. Temperatures in the high 20s, low 30s, those colder conditions, but the bright side with those conditions is it is going to be pretty sunny. By next week though, another cold front is going to pass through, leaving us with those very cold mornings and even chillier days of the week. So it's going to be very cold. We have a very strong cold spell coming our way, which is matching with the rest of the Northeast. So the cold is on its way, so just get ready for it. How do you guys feel about all this cold heading our way?
I mean, we just got to get through it. That's all we can do. I know we've been focusing a lot about how it's going to affect us locally, this cold punch we're going to get at the end of the week, but we're going to talk about it more nationally now.
It's gotten a lot colder so far this year, and this upcoming cold spell is going to be similar to what we had in early January.
Yes, in early January, there was actually a big cold spell that affected pretty much the eastern corridor of the country. Areas all the way up down to Atlanta saw like temperatures into the low teens, and that could be repeated as we go, especially into Sunday morning. Yeah,
Sunday morning is going to probably be the coolest morning of the next 7 days. We're going to be talking about temperatures in the 20s, and here's our 7-day. The good thing to note here is Friday the 13th will strike with colder temperatures and then warming up for Valentine's Day on Saturday.
So yes, so Valentine's Day, if you have that special someone, it's just a great day to drink some of that yummy hot cocoa because you're going to need it all weekend, all throughout.
Yeah, Sunday it'll get cooler. As we mentioned, temperatures there on freezing on Sunday morning and then again on Monday morning. But go ahead and get out that winter gear. Send us a picture of that as well. Lots to take pictures of those frozen fountains this weekend. Send those to us on Instagram as well as Twitter and Facebook.
And just remember, just keep sending us all those great pictures because it's going to be great out there when it comes to those pictures. And just remember, I'm Ulises Garcia.
And I'm meteorologist Jonathan Bellis. Get that winter gear out and have a great night and stay warm.
Stay warm, folks.